Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Moonshiners Racing presented by Depot Street Sports. I'm your host, Michael Rizzo. I'm joined with Aiden Fortney, Zachary Kendall, and Bunny might be joining us here or there shortly. But, guys, how are we doing after a great race weekend at Nashville?
I'm doing pretty good. This is my first stream back. I had to miss the last two, unfortunately. Had some laptop issues. Got them fixed, obviously. Uh, Doing great. Remembered the NBA Finals is today, and I remembered how much I really do not care about the NBA. Uh, yeah, I was trying to pick out a spot in my room that'd be nice. I figured, the diecast shelf would look good. There's some 18 cars, 17 cars. That's 21. That's 20. Up there's more of the newer cars, but yeah, feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Got a haircut today, so that felt nice. Just coming off of what was what we all thought was like kind of an indifferent type of race, which we'll get to. I got a quick bit of news though. I will be going to Eldora this weekend for the Dream, so that's going to be pretty cool. Hopefully, we get some racing in because I've seen that the weather right now is not the best, but that's for Saturday. I'm here now. We're here talking about NASCAR, so.
Yeah, sounds like you guys had a lot of good going on. Hopefully, the weather holds out for you there, Zachary, and you get to watch and experience the race at the Eldora dirt track there. But yeah, let's get into the race. Like Zachary said, we had some differing opinions in how the race was. Let's first talk about Denny Hamlin getting the win, start on the pole, starting early, going to the back, and then driving his way all the way up to get the win, and a great finish with his teammates Chase Briscoe and Christopher Bell. Gets the win, and he also had a side bet with his driver Tyler Reddick. Him and his fans, the friends, the Denny Bros that call themselves. They got a wager on the race. The winner between him and Reddick, and well, now his name will be on Reddick's car. I mean, it already is kind of 2311, but now his name is on the car too. If you didn't see it, but guys, thoughts on the race and Denny Hamlin's win?
So Zachary mentioned we all have differing opinions, and this is where I come in. This is where I come in. Aiden and his differing opinions on everything. That's not a word. I made that up. But anyways, I liked the race. I thought these two were overhating it. These guys are bums. Anyways, I enjoyed it personally. I enjoyed the pit road strategies. Some drivers going with 2 tires, some going with 4. Zane Smith trying to stretch it, and of course that awesome finish at the end. Not to mention, we saw their Nashville broke the record of most passes for a Nashville race since Cup has come back. Most lead changes in a Nashville race since Cup has came back. It did get a little annoying there at the beginning of stage 3 because they just kept wrecking and felt like they were kind of just wrecking every restart. But that was only like 3 or 4 times. After that, they were racing just fine. And I thoroughly enjoyed the race. I enjoyed the weekend. My grandparents, they live in Tennessee. They are up here for graduation. I have a cousin that's graduating from my old high school. I got to see the race with them. It was fun. I don't get to spend a lot of time with them, so I had a blast this weekend.
All right, it wasn't like I was completely hating on this race. I did give it a better rating score than Rizzo did, but I don't know, something about it just didn't really hit right with me, and I don't know what it was because again, I've praised Amazon Prime obviously the last couple of weeks. They've had their broadcasts, another phenomenal, showing by them. Good job bringing in Mark Martin as well for like the pre-race and the post-race coverage as well. That was really cool. As for Hamlin, yeah, you said it. He jumped the start of the race, and it wasn't even close. He jumped it by about 200 feet or more, and they joked about it. Dale Jr. said what it would take for him to go to the rear of the field. Basically, he said double the purse, and he basically just did it for free. Obviously, he wasn't going to get lapped because his car was obviously too strong to get lapped, but he got stuck there in 28th for a good amount of time. And then stage 1 ended, stage 2 came along, and he was like mid-pack, and then he got a bunch of spots on the restarts. That's the thing about this race is that Hamlin typically in that 11 car is one of the best on the long runs, but this race in particular, he was better than on the short runs. I feel like because, for a while there, it looked like Bell had the best car on the long run, honestly, and then Briscoe was right behind him on that, and then it was Hamlin. But, coming there at the end with all the strategy, with Zane Smith, trying to stress the fuel a bit. Ryan Blaney for a second there, we thought he was going to stress the fuel, but he came down pit road, and then Bell got the lead. Hamlin basically obviously had no shot at catching Bell if it stayed green all the way to the end because his car just wasn't that strong enough, on the long run. But, Chris Buescher gets into the wall and caution comes out, and, it sets up a perfect 4-lap dash for Hamlin to starting in third, obviously make the move to the inside, do a really good job, obviously hanging there because, the guy on the outside can pinch you down. But, as Denny Hamlin has been known to do, he runs the guy that's on the outside of him up the track in the corners a bit, and Bell did a good job staying on the outside as long as he could. The thing with the outside is you saw that last lap how, when Briscoe got to the very outside of both of them, how Bell had to make a decision, obviously, which is either to lift, which is completely giving his chance away of victory immediately, or he had to drive it deep in the corner, and he chose to drive it deep in the corner and got in front of Briscoe. But unfortunately, Hamlin, got a better turn through the corner, and Bell had to probably lift a little bit off the turn, and that allowed Hamlin to get in front of him and eventually, get the win. So, it was a good rally, great rally by Hamlin again because, Nashville is a very tedious track where it is tough to pass. He made most of his spots on the restarts, but hey, I mean, that's what, good drivers, elite drivers do is, they make up positions no matter where it's at, whether it's on the restarts, whether it's on the long run, whatever. They do it, they get it done. And Hamlin's been open about how he thinks that his restarts are the worst part of his, driver craft, racing craft. And he certainly went to work on it this past weekend, and that's what got him the win. So congratulations to Denny Hamlin.
I'm going to first start off on how I thought about the race. If I remember correctly, Aiden told me that it was an 8 out of 10. Zachary said it was a 6.5 out of 10. And I said 5.5 out of 10. And I said +1 for the finish. The reason why I was so low on the race, despite the great finish, if it weren't for that finish and then the strategy was great, it was extremely difficult to pass. Pretty much once you made your pit call, whatever your pit call was, if you took a 2-tire stop, you were pretty much staying in the top 10 regardless. Like you pretty much were. If you took 4 tires, you were mired back in traffic. It was so tough to pass unless you kept changing what your pitch strategy was. Then we had that long run. People started falling off. Some people had different pitch strategies, pitting early, pitting late, trying to stove the distance. And then that caution came out and all this, and then shit hit the fan. Personally, to me, I thought great strategy-wise, great finish, but this car it just sucks. It just punched such a hole in the air that the further back you are, it is so difficult to pass. There's too much drag in these cars. I'm glad we're getting more horsepower. I think the more horsepower benefited this racetrack. I thought this was the best race that this track has put on. That being said, every race this track's put on has been a mediocre at best. I thought this one was all right. I know some people are really high on this one, but I feel like the strategy and the finish are kind of over. I don't know. I guess people are just weighing that more than the actual race itself. And I thought the race itself, it was just so hard to pass. If we could just take out half the drag in these cars, if you want to keep the horsepower where it's at, what is it, like 750 right now or something like that? I think it'd be a better product. I think we'll get better racing because then the car behind, will have something to fight with rather than just, I'm going to just, the car in front, I could just aero block him down the straightaway, and then he tries dive bombing me and turn whatever turn it is, I could just cut him off, and then he's gonna get tight in the middle of the corner, and he's gonna chase it up the track, and no one's getting the wall. That's how every race is, and it's so annoying to see it. We you're diehard fans like us, we know what's going on, but your casual fans or your fans that aren't really super engaged in it and don't live and breathe NASCAR like we do, they don't see that. So they just think, oh, this is great. When in reality, if you have a 10th place car and you had a pit strategy, get Meyer back in 24th, you're lucky to get up to 20th by the end of the next run. This is really how it is. And that's why some of these restarts are crazy. The restarts are great. That's why Denny Hamlin's talking about being great at restarts. But I just, the car needs some fix. That's all I'm hoping for. And if we get that, I feel like the racing product would be even better. Anyway, on to the race. I thought Denny Hamlin had an amazing drive. Chris Gale in the pit box made some great calls on his pit strategy. Caution fell right. He stayed out there on track. It was the right call. But then again, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he used the first car on 4 tires, restarted, I want to say 10th, drove all the way up to 4th. Great finish for him. And then Zane Smith had a great run. I picked him last week. I said, hey, if I can get a top 12, I'll be happy. I got a 9th place run, so that's good. Didn't give me the win, but still an overall great finish. But solid race. Looking forward to Michigan because I think Michigan's going to put on a good product. Moving on to talk about the race as well. Brake issues, plenty of brake issues. It started off, I want to say, with Connor Zilic had brake issues. His teammate Ross Chastain. Ross Chastain was moving up the field. He looked like he had a great car. AJ Allmendinger, he won stage 1. He had a fast car, shocked at the speed, brake issues. I'm sure there's plenty more drivers who also had some fading brakes, brake shake, long pedals. I know we heard other drivers talk about it. Just overall, just guys, thoughts on the brake issues.
It kept drivers on their toes, to say the least. I really thought it was going to be a major track house issue, obviously with Zillage, and then it happening to Chastain as well. I really thought we were going to see SVG eventually have brake issues. He did not actually, and actually ran another really good race for him on an oval. I thought it was interesting. We saw it happen with AJ Allmendinger as well. I know other drivers were just complaining about it, per se. It definitely kept things exciting. Definitely kept drivers on their toes, which we do like. We do like when drivers are challenged in a way, if that makes sense. Now, is brake issues a really scary thing, and we actually kind of would prefer drivers not to worry about that? Kind of. Usually when I think of brake issues on a car, my head goes to Bubba Wallace and Jimmy Johnson at Pocono a few years back. So usually when I say I want drivers to fight with the car, I just want them to fight with the looseness or like grip or something like that. Not really having to worry about their brakes just failing in the corner and them flying off into the wall. It's good to watch on TV because it keeps you on the edge of your seat, but yeah, it's definitely not fun for the drivers, to say the least.
Yeah, early on, like within the first 20 laps, they were showing like Hocevar, which his car didn't lose its brakes, the brake rotors didn't lose it. He didn't lose any of that, but he was definitely like cooking the brakes. You could tell because it was like glowing red, like hot lava type red. When he was like going into the corners. And that's the thing too, is that all these brake issues happened entering the corners, which is the absolute worst time you could have a brake failure, is going into a corner, because that's the maximum speed you're going before obviously you're slowing down. So every single one, Chastain, Zilic, Allmendinger, every single one of them had that happen. I think Chris Buescher had a brake failure too. That's what happened that last caution as well. And it wasn't just the brake failures that affected those drivers. It also affected Ryan Preece, and that team has been losing some points here recently, and they needed a good run, and he ran over like some type of debris that was coming off a brake rotor, and it punctured something in the radiator or engine or something like that, and he had to sit in the garage almost dead last, I think, like 37th place. So yeah, it was kind of shocking sometimes because, sometimes you do get these races where, it's the tires potentially going out on certain drivers. Then it's these brakes. It's almost like Russian roulette. Who's it going to be next? for a little bit there, you were worried about Shane Van Gisbergen, considering that both of his teammates ended up suffering it, but then they obviously assured him that they were running a very different package, and that obviously came to fruition because he ended up lasting all the way to the finish and got 5th place. So the 97 continues to be the shining light in Trackhouse, and Connors Hills continues to be on the season from pain. Literally, he's averaging just over 10 points, I think, a race. He has like just over 30 points above Cody Ware, and you know how I feel about Cody Ware. I think we all know how we feel about Cody Ware too. So it's unfortunate for Zilich, obviously, and unfortunate for Chastain because he again is also tumbling down the standings. He's like around 25th, I think. So the further and further you're getting behind is just putting yourself in a further hole. And it just shows that, Trackhouse has a lot of work to do to make all 3 of their cars better. Right now, SVG is obviously carrying them. But just, quick rehash of the brakes, unfortunate for all these drivers, obviously, especially Allmendinger. He was having a very fantastic run, honestly. Won the stage. He was running 3rd, literally, when it exploded on him, or 4th. So, it was unfortunate, but sometimes in racing that happens, and you just got to go back to next week and battle through it. And, hopefully we don't see any of these more issues coming up. I will say, though, that I think maybe the higher horsepower had something to do with this as well, because more horsepower obviously means more wear on the brakes, and depending on the type of brake packages you put in the cars, it does play a factor, as you saw with Trackhouse losing 2 of their 3. RFK lost Bushers, and then Allmendinger with colleagues. So, yeah, it was kind of crazy to watch, but thankfully everyone's all right, and again, hopefully we don't see any more going forward.
Yeah, interesting to hear from Steve Letarte in the booth and talking about the different packages that you could do with your brakes at certain tracks. You could have bigger brake pads, you could have calipers, you could change them all up, but you can't have to have the same rotors, he said. And a lot of teams have different varying, different crew chiefs, not just the teams. Like Trackhouse, I bet you, Zilich and Chastain, their teams both had the same brake package, same opening towards the brakes, same brake pads, and it just didn't work out for them. Obviously, Shane Van Gisbergen, they had something different, and he was able to get a great run out of the day, solidifying his point standings in the point standings. So, it was pretty interesting to hear what Steve Letarte had to say, from just having the error and he predicted that what was going on with Zilich and Chastain was that they were overcooling the brakes because, going, and then Dale Jr. got into the numbers, under braking pressure, they're probably at 1,200 degrees. When they're getting cooled off, it's half that. So that's 600 degrees. So every single corner is going 1,200 degrees, 600 degrees, 1,200 degrees, 600 degrees. And it's just a ticking time bomb when it's going to actually blow and go out. And as for someone else, you've overheated, you don't get enough air to it, it can explode that way. And I think that's what happened to AJ Allmendinger, because he broke his, you could tell, later into turn 1 compared to the other guys, kind of on the straightaway. So just kind of cool to hear what Steve Letarte had to say about that. But anyway, let's move on and talk about some tempers flaring, possibly at the racetrack. There was an incident during a green flag pit cycle, and Brad Keselowski nabbed Austin Dillon, spun him around, caution came out. Austin Dillon was having a bad day, running 2-3 laps down the majority of the day. And then, a run later, a wreck occurs in front of them, and Austin Dillon just drove right through the 6th car, and the 6th car got demolished. Guys, do you think Austin Dillon was paying him back, or just wrong place, wrong time, didn't cut him a break?
Yeah, this was definitely a discussion at the time when this happened in our group chat. Let's just say that you mentioned the first caution kind of started by Stenhouse kind of unexpectedly pitting, and seemed like some of the drivers didn't know that he was going to do that, causing a stack-up effect, and Brad Keselowski end up turning to 3. I am right. I am thinking of the same incident, right? Yeah, okay. Just making sure. Later on a restart, another stack-up incident, Brad Keselowski finds himself in front of Austin Dillon, and he gets turned, gets his car destroyed. And at first, I was kind of thinking this was an Austin Dillon. Almost said something I can't say here. Austin Dillon moment. But one thing that really caught on to me, one, Austin said he didn't do it on the radio, whatever. He's not going to admit it if he did it first. We listened to the audio. Dale Jr. even pointed this out. Austin Dillon lifted when Brad Keselowski was in front of him. When the wreck was happening, Austin Dillon lifted. You can hear him get out of the throttle. You can hear the engine die down, but he was still going too fast and still ran into him, turned him. So me personally, just because he lifted out of the throttle, I think personally it was an accident, wrong place, wrong time. Some people, I can understand them thinking like he lifted out of the throttle. He knew he was going to run through him. He didn't want to make it look obvious. I understand that point of view. Just me personally, and I'm an Austin Dillon hater. I am very critical on Austin Dillon. I'm going to cut him some slack this time. I think that was not intentional.
Both these incidents were at result of checkups for differing reasons. Obviously, the first one being because Stenhouse was pitting, which is kind of weird that we keep seeing these incidents happen where cars are pitting and apparently people just do not know, and they slow other cars on the racetrack down because they don't think that they're pitting until they do. So, yeah, Keselowski didn't know it, and because of that, he had to take evasive action and got out of the gas, and because of that, you got out of the gas on the straightaway, you're going to lose a lot of momentum, and that's what was happening. But he comes down the track in front of Dillon. Dillon checks up for him, gives him a break, only to have Chris Buescher, who is Brad's teammate, send him into the grass. Wicked save, by the way. Drove it from the grass almost into the wall, but didn't hit the wall either. So props to Austin Dillon for keeping the car clean, at least there, besides his tires, obviously going flat spot probably. The second one was obviously after a restart. It was in the middle of those bunch of cautions at the beginning of stage 3, where everyone's all together, obviously, and entering the corners you can go deeper, but when you go deeper you could tend to lose it coming out of the corner, and that's what happened with Noah Gragson. And because of that, you saw everyone try and go low and have to check up for everybody. But, Dillon, he's either a great actor, obviously, or something like that. But I think he was generally out of the gas. He obviously was really upset. And, of course, the 6 team's reaction, the spotter initially saying that, he did that intentionally. And then Brad, the care center interview, it's the heat of the battle, the heat of the moment. And, of course, you're going to be pissed at the guy that turned you because, you felt like, he got back at you for what happened earlier in the race. But everything that obviously NASCAR saw, I'm guessing they looked over the SMT data, all that. They saw the broadcast footage. I'm guessing everything that they saw and confirmed is that he was out of the gas. So if he really was trying to wreck him, you would have expected him to have just been able full shot into the back bumper. But that wasn't the case. But unfortunately, Austin Cindric also got caught up in this wreck too, and he unfortunately cannot afford that many incidents like that, considering that he's on the playoff bubble, or the chase bubble. My bad. Excuse me, the chase bubble currently. So unfortunate for Cindric, and obviously unfortunate for Brad. But I don't think Dillon really did this on purpose, even though again he's had history of losing his cool at times. But I don't think here was intentional at all.
I mean, guys. You don't think, I'm an Austin Dillon hater. Everyone knows it. You don't think Austin Dillon isn't smart enough to wreck somebody without wrecking him? You know what I mean? He didn't cut him a break. Let off the gas. We heard it, but he could have let off more. He could have slammed the brakes a little bit more. I'm sure the SMT data, I haven't seen it. Sure, it says something, but he didn't say anything on the radio. Unlike what Ryan Preece did, he said he wasn't going to cut him any breaks. Sure enough, he got an opportunity not to cut him a break. He didn't cut him a break. Ty Dillon wrecks at Texas, and he gets suspended. Well, not suspended. He gets penalized. I'm just saying they have a history. You know, Austin Dillon was running terrible. You know, a lot going on at RCR. It's just a lot. You're telling me Austin Dillon didn't just not? I mean, yeah, sure, he hit the brakes, but I mean, he slowed down. He was off the gas, but I'm sure he could have slowed down a little bit more if you're in the Cup Series and top of the line NASCAR driver. Probably be a little bit better than that. I don't know. I'm just saying. I didn't cut him some slack. I was like, oops, you know, didn't say anything on the rate. I mean, NASCAR is not going to do anything unless you say something. It's kind of what we've heard. What we've seen is if you say something, you're going to get reprimanded. He didn't say anything. Nothing. So I don't know. I'm on the side that maybe he just didn't cut him a break. And now Brad Keselowski's going to have to race the rest of the season knowing that maybe he didn't cut me a break. Maybe not. I don't know. But interesting to watch the rest of the season. Moving on, let's get to the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Justin Allgaier gets yet another win and is dominating the point standings and in first place, currently a 145-point lead over second place Jesse Love. Also, Jesse Love had a great car, probably should have won the race. Many more this season as well, but late race struggles takes him out of this one. Guys, thoughts on the race, thoughts on Justin Allgaier and Jesse Love's incident?
Yeah, first I want to give praises to Justin Allgaier. I'm sure we all thought he was the favorite coming into the season. We've mentioned it before. And I think this has really been swept under the rug this Justin Allgaier dominance. Obviously, the talk is Tyler Reddick already having 5 wins on the season. Was at one point like 3 races or above second place. That has cut down to only 97 points ahead, which is still incredible. Don't get me wrong. I feel like people are starting to have forgotten how good Allgaier is and just how dominant of a season he's having. He's 179 points above Jesse Love. It's incredible. I also feel like this is kind of being ignored because of how good Connor Zillage was also last year in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series. Allgaier's just been having a phenomenal season. He's a veteran. He's the most experienced driver in the O'Reilly series at this point. He's driving probably the best race car in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series. I mean, Junior Motorsports has been dominant for years now. It sucks to see Jesse Love, though, just not getting a break. He's sitting second in points, but still got 0 wins. Reminds me of when Ryan Blaney was like top 3 in points the entire 2022 season and didn't get a single win the entire year. It is frustrating. It is annoying. Yes, he's second in points, but that's got to be eating away at him. With the whole mindset of I gotta win. He can start doing desperate things. Obviously, these drivers are looking ahead for the full season, but it's got to be it's got to be gnawing at him that I need a win. I don't have a win this year, and that can really affect the driver going forward greatly. Especially, he's not that far ahead of Corey Day, who's sitting in third and has been having a good season as well.
Yeah, and coming into the year, I'm guessing that most of us had Justin Allgaier 1 or 2 in terms of the seeds, and Jesse Love was right behind him. So, in this race, I saw all but like 35 laps because I went somewhere for a while and then came back and saw the last lap. So I did not see Jesse Love's issue with his tire, but then I went back and saw it. And fortunately, once again, unfortunate luck bit him. And it's been similar to, I don't want to say it's been like, obviously, well, actually, no, it actually has been similar to his championship season last year where he got like 2 or 3 wins, but he was running consistently well in the top 10, obviously. he doesn't go out there and like get a bunch of wins. Like he hasn't been getting like 6 or 7 wins. I'm sorry, that was a mistake. I shouldn't have said that. But you know, he's a guy that is a very obviously good prospect, you know, in NASCAR currently, and he's been battling Allgaier as best he can, but unfortunately Allgaier's been having a lot more consistent finishes because he keeps getting put behind the 8 ball because he's having to make extra pit stops. And I'm not saying there's any conspiracy theories out there because I don't think there is, but I'm just saying that they keep putting Austin Hill in the 33 car in the Cup Series on Sundays, and you know that, and Love continues to have these problems. He could be lined up somewhere potentially, maybe somewhere else that's not RCR. Who knows? Anyways, I expect him to still grab at least 2 or 3 wins this year because I do think he is obviously a very good driver. But for Allgaier's sake, you know, he thought he was going to retire. He really did. He's been honest about that. He thought he was going to retire after last year. He bought a house somewhere. He was going to settle down and retire. And, you know, his family convinced him to continue to keep going because you're winning. And guess what? He is still winning. 4 wins on the year. He has like 10 or 11 top 10s, and like 9 of those are top 5s. So, you know, why give it up? He's on a roll, and he's with the best team in that series in Junior Motorsports. And you know, here at Nashville, he once again just proved why he's a master of the concrete. Like he's won at Dover, he's won here 3 times. He just knows how to get around concrete tracks, and you know, it was a good win for him. Incredible battle between him and Love at the end of stage 2. I saw that part, and then I left, and then I came back and saw the last lap. But you know, Allgaier being the veteran that he is, again, he's expected to be really good, and sure enough, he has been this entire year. And you know, Jesse Love, you know, again, just keep your head up because you will find victory lane sooner than later. The law of averages say it will work out, and if you can continue to put good race cars on the track, you will find victory lane. So I don't think this is going to be a Ryan Blaney situation, unfortunately, but if it is, I'm sure again that you'll find another opportunity to find Victor Lane somewhere, sometime soon, because you are very talented.
Yeah, overall solid race. Justin Allgaier is just putting on a clinic this season of how to be consistent, how to keep yourself up front, and then getting wins when they're, you know, when you have a good car. Unlike Jesse Love, just he's been so good as well up there fighting with Justin Allgaier. They're both having great battles on track. It's just he keeps finding himself in these issues late in races. Pretty much almost every race, it's always late. Nothing happens early enough to the point where he can make up from it and work his way back forward. It always happens too late in the run and in the race, and it just bites him. And it's kind of led to why Justin Allgaier has had such a huge point lead, 145 point lead. But like what Zachary said, the law of averages is going to work in his favor here. At some point, he'll get that monkey off his back, get in victory lane. It's just a matter of time. They're a really fast team. I wouldn't be shocked if it happens in a couple weeks here. I know they have an off week at Michigan this weekend, but it's bound to happen, him getting in victory lane. And I think when they do get in victory lane, it's going to be a lot of weight off his shoulders, and then he's going to get right back on it and hopefully go on a run for himself. Guys, thoughts on Cletus McFarland's second ever O'Reilly Auto Parts start? It looked like it was going a little bit better than it was at Rockingham. Running around 30th or so, moving up a little bit. And then he spun out at the end of the stage, getting past his teammate there, Jesse Love. Kind of the air, he didn't really like that. But overall, he was racing better. And then the pit road issues occurred. Pit road speeding, then having issues there, more issues on pit road. Just stuff you'd expect him to have, him being kind of green still. He's still new. ARCA, they don't have live pit stops, so this is definitely something that's different for him, green flag pit stops and all that. But overall, I thought he raced better than what he did at Rockingham. He looked better, looked more comfortable in the car. But he is running 2 races this upcoming week at Michigan. both ARCA and trucks. So it's going to be good for him. The more seat time, the better it is going to be. He was on DBC talking about the seat time he's going to get. He's going to be running up a pro late model. He's running a couple races there. And I think he mentioned Stafford and somewhere else. I think Berlin. I think too. I think he mentioned. But overall, I'm looking forward to seeing what he could do because he's a great personality. He ran better. But the better he runs, the better it will be for the sport and himself.
The race pace that he had in this one was better than what he had at Rockingham. You know, in that stage one, Jesse Love was away with the lead, and he was like ahead of everybody like 6 seconds. Like literally, the second place guy was 6 seconds behind him. So that's why he was probably giving Cletus a little bit of a break there. But eventually, he got to the outside of him, got around him, and then Cletus had to battle some guy. I don't remember who it was for the free pass, and then he got pinched down, and his air got taken away from him, and he ended up spinning the car out. So unfortunate for right there. And then it seemed like he was doing solid again, running a lot of laps. Good, because he's basically a rookie. Obviously, in this series, he's a rookie just in general in terms of running cars. So he needs more laps, and he was doing a good job of that. And then unfortunately, he ran into those problems on pit road, and they kind of spiraled from there. So the result might not have been prettier, but I feel like the eye test from when we saw him was a lot better than what he had at Rockingham, which tells me that he is learning. And I kind of did. I saw his post-race debrief on Instagram on one of his reels. Kind of hilarious to hear him break it down all down. But, again, I've always mentioned it. He's a guy that, again, has a lot of followers. He did so in this one as well because they're having a live stream on his car. He brings eyes to the sport. All he has to do is not make a fool of himself, and he kind of did there when at the beginning of stage one, or not beginning of stage one, the end of stage one. But again, he looked like he was doing better in terms of driving a race car, passing some people. If he didn't run into those pit road troubles, this could have been pushing towards like a mid-20s finish, honestly, because I feel like that's what that car had in terms of pace. But unfortunately, he had those pit road troubles and ended up back in the 30s again. So you said it. He's going to be running some late models. He has another opportunity in the O'Reilly series coming up, and he's going to continue to run ARCA. And the thing I think I love most about it is that initially when he got into this, he was talking with the late great Greg Biffle about it and how he wanted to get into stock car racing. He wanted to obviously attempt the Daytona 500, and that's probably still his main goal, obviously. But he's saying he's falling in love with a lot of other stuff that goes into this and making a race car driver who he is and what they're all about. And I think that's great. This isn't a guy that's been, trained all his life to be this. He was a guy that just turned really the last 2 years. So it's been great to see. And I'm glad he's falling in love with the process of it all. Again, the results haven't been there, but again, in the O'Reilly series at least. But he is learning. That you can tell that he is learning. And all he has to do is continue to run more laps. And whatever that is, whether that's late models, whether that's an ARCA, whether if he wants to get more truck starts, I don't know. But he just needs to continue to run more laps on these tracks and get more comfortable behind the wheel. And eventually, he'll stop spinning himself out. And then, he'll get some better, solider finishes, because I feel like in this one he definitely deserved a better finish than what he got. But unfortunately, pit road troubles bit him in this one.
Yeah, he'll be getting better here. But the more seat time, the better he'll end up being. Moving on, let's get over to the truck series. Lane Riggs goes back to back, gets a win here at Nashville. He's been really fast. He's been really fast these last couple of weeks. Gets back to victory lane. Guys, thoughts on the race? Thoughts on Lane Riggs?
Hey, Riggs is having a really great season. He's turned it up late recently. All we talked about last season was Corey Haim's dominance in the truck series, which should not go unnoticed how just amazing he was in the truck series. If people forget, Lane Riggs was the second best guy. Like, it was, if it wasn't Corey Heim, it was Lane Riggs. And Riggs really had like a good, solid like gap, points gap between him and third place. So I think everyone kind of did expect Lane Riggs to be really good once again. Obviously, he started off the gate a little bit slow. Caden Honeycutt was leading the points there for a little bit. Honeycutt got one at Watkins Glen, I believe. If not a different track, I know he has a win. Never mind, I'm getting head nods. Yeah, Watkins Glen. But Riggs since then has taken the lead. Won 2 more races than Honeycutt. He still has less top 10s and less top 5s, so he's a little less consistent with that, though. But I can see Lane Riggs running away with it, especially with the truck he has. Front row is a top tier truck ride. It has been for a little while now. So yeah, I can see Riggs possibly not relinquish. I'm not even gonna try it. Losing the lead to Honeycutt unless we get the points reset and then like Honeycutt just has one better race than Riggs. But yeah, we'll have to see. I'm excited to see how the rest of the season plays out in the truck series because Honeycutt is still only 37 points back. It's going to be a tight battle.
Yeah, definitely shaping up that way between these two drivers. It's similar to, I feel like, obviously to really the Cup side of things where you have Tyler Reddick, right? And then you got Hamlin in second. I know Blaney's in third, but unfortunately for him, he has the worst pit crew in the Cup Series. And so it's really just a battle between these two drivers of Reddick and Hamlin. And it's a similar way in trucks, too, with Honeycutt and Riggs. And Rizzo made a great, bold prediction before the year that he said that Lane Riggs was going to be the best driver in this series. It took a little bit of time for him to get going, but he's finally starting to find victory lane, obviously. And, again, he deserved to be in racing for that championship last year with Corey Heim, but unfortunately with the way the format was and everything, he didn't make it. And, he's right back in to this season where he's flexing his muscles a bit. And the front row is obviously what Aiden said is a tremendous truck program. And they have been for several years now, both with Zane Smith and then going back to obviously to Lane Riggs and even Chandler Smith at times has had some great races with them. So, it's just Lane Riggs is doing what he needs to do. Again, he's a veteran of this series. He's been in the trucks for 4 or 5 years now or something like that. And in this one, he definitely was the best dominant car. But, of course, pit strategy and whatnot, tires had to flip him some track position, but he ended up making his way through the field, slicing and dicing his way through the field, and eventually he got the lead. So and went on to win. So 3 wins on the year. I think he's going to get, obviously, a lot more before the end of the year happens. It surely is going to be a battle between him and that 11 truck because those two right now are showing why they're the class of the field week in, week out.
Yeah, he's having a great year. Him and the 11 truck. It's kind of the battle we thought we were going to see last year, but kind of like what you guys both mentioned. But Corey Heim, we're going to be talking about here soon, had other intentions last year. But this year, it's a bit more of a battle between the two of them. Overall, just great racing out of the two, out of Lane Riggs. He's getting better. He said he doesn't really know what he's doing next year as of yet. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the season goes and what happens with him next. Because, like I said, he doesn't know what he's doing next year, whether that's moving up to Riley, staying in the truck. So overall, solid race, solid year so far for him. Now let's move on to news around the garage. Let's start off like always with the point standings. All right, here we go. In first is still Tyler Reddick with a 97-point lead. Denny Hamlin in second. In third, Ryan Blaney. Fourth, Chase Elliott. Fifth, Ty Gibbs. Sixth, Kyle Larson. Seventh, Christopher Bell. Eighth, Chris Buescher. Ninth, Carson Hocevar. 10th, Daniel Suarez. 11th, William Byron. 12th, Shane Van Gisbergen. 13th, Brad Keselowski. 14th, Chase Briscoe. 15th, Bubba Wallace. 16th, the last car in, Austin Cindric. 17th, Ryan Preece. 18th, Joey Logano. 19th, Michael McDowell. And 20th, Zane Smith. Guys, give me 3 drivers you want to talk about, whether that's them moving up or moving down.
The first guy moving down that I want to highlight is Chris Buescher. Now, I picked him as the first guy because, one, I still think Buescher's going to make the chase. I almost said playoffs. That was close. I still think he's going to make the chase. I just want to point him out because he was 5th in points not that long ago. I remember looking up and being like, oh, Chris Buescher's 5th in points. How about that? He's running really good, could be an outside championship guy. But ever since then, he had issues at Nashville. He had issues the week before. He didn't have a good all-star race. Like, the all-star race even matters, but still, he didn't really have a good all-star race. Yeah, Buescher just hasn't been running well at all. He keeps getting caught up in other people's messes. He wrecked at Nashville. He wrecked at Charlotte. He just keeps getting caught up in people's messes. Thankfully for him, though, we got a list of tracks that he is good at. He's won at Michigan. He's won at Pocono. Actually, people forget that. We got San Diego coming up. He is good on road courses. He's probably a top 10, not even top 10. He's probably a top 5 Cup driver on road courses, honestly. And I feel like no one talks about that. Sonoma immediately after that, Chicagoland. I mean, RFK, they were good at Darlington. They're good on mile and a half. So he could be good there. I just want to point out Chris Buescher because he is sliding in the points, but I can see him turning it around. A driver I really wanted to highlight is AJ Allmendinger. I feel like not about a month ago we were talking about how AJ Allmendinger can make it in on points without Chevrolet's backing. Unfortunately, that has not come to fruition. He is sliding down in points. Really had a good Nashville race going for him until his brake rotor gave out. He won a stage at Nashville. He was running good. No real BS or anything either. He was just running up there, and unfortunately, rotors failed. I mean, even Ty Dillon finished 12th in this race. Like, that shows how good how good the Kaulig cars were, surprisingly, at Nashville. Finally, I want to bring up Josh Berry. Oh boy, what has happened to him? Where have you gone, Josh Berry? Josh Berry's 31st in points. To put in perspective, he is only 15 points above Alex Bowman, who missed several races. It's almost unexcusable, and I don't really know who to blame. Do you blame the Wood brothers? Do you blame Josh Berry? I'm a Josh Berry fan. I think Josh Berry can be good, but having results like he's been having recently, it's hard to do that. Sitting in 30th, and I already mentioned mindset with Jesse Love. Sitting 30th in points is going to eat at you, especially when you haven't really been caught up in a lot of wrecks or incidences, so you can't really blame anyone. You're just kind of off pace and off speed. And hopefully he doesn't dig himself an even deeper hole, because we could have a serious discussion on what's going to happen with Berry in the 21 car, even though we kind of have started having these discussions earlier with the whole Chris Buescher possibly moving to a different team type deal. So, yeah, I want Berry to be good, and I hope he does, but I don't know. We'll just have to see.
The first guy I want to point out, he moved up a spot, but it really didn't feel like that, but somehow he did. That's William Byron here in 11th place. I don't know what's wrong with that 24 group. I really don't. I know Chevrolet has a new body and whatnot, but Byron is out there at lunch for a lot of portions of these races, and the races that he has finished good at, I would say he's got benefit by the fact that they've had short runs at the end of these races, and he's able to leapfrog some of these guys on restarts. Again, I've said it, championship drivers and championship teams find their way to dig themselves out of rough finishes, but he's had a lot of rough races, and those finishes are kind of keeping him in this 11th place spot. It really does not feel strong enough. I've even pointed out how Christopher Bell needed to turn around a little bit like Byron, and Bell has. Where's Byron at? He's back there in 20th place. So they got to pick it up. They're not really the best when it comes in the summertime, but they can't really afford to be slow either because, again, with this points format the way it is, there is no more winning in, obviously. You have to continue to run well, and he better be turning around because, again, I don't feel comfortable that he's in 11th spot, but that's not a very comfortable 11th spot. The next guy I got to point out here is Chase Briscoe in 14th. He also gained a spot in the points, and it seems like that 19 group seems like that when the summer months hit, that's when they really turn it around a little bit. They start to get things going and rolling. And we saw early on this year how he kept getting into bad luck. Obviously, tires going flat, parts breaking. He was up front in a lot of these races early on, and just that he got bad finishes out of him because he had ran into problems. Now he's up front. He's getting a lot of stage points, and he's climbed all the way up into 14th, and I could see him leapfrogging. He's not far behind, obviously, Shane Van Gisbergen, Brad Keselowski, or even Byron. He can make up a point's worth on Daniel Suarez, too, honestly. So he has points to gain, obviously, from the guys in front of him, and, it seems like they are finally turning around. And plus, it doesn't hurt to be in a Toyota, too, because they are really good and the best manufacturer currently in the Cup Series. And then the last guy I got to highlight is the guy that's just outside the grid and the chase grid, and that is Ryan Preece. I picked him and to make the chase format, the chase grid, because I really liked RFK's ability to, get consistent results, and for the most part, they have. I don't know what Aiden's pointing at. I can't see that. So yeah. Back to Ryan Preece. I picked him to make the chase, but it seemed like for a good while there, it was a good pick. But after Texas and after he got penalized those 25 points, he's not got a lot of stage points. He's wrecked out at Charlotte. He wrecked out at Nashville. Now, unfortunately, he got a bad break at Nashville. Then he had a kind of funny tweet after the race, after his race ended. He's like, "We finally caught a break, except it was spelled BRAKE, break of the car." So I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, he's sitting here in 17th. Again, he's only 2 points out, so it's not like it's the end of the world. But it's time to start getting rolling a little bit here, start getting some better finishes. Because again, you're a team that while I had you in, you are obviously going to be around that bubble, and he's been around that bubble all season long. And recently, the vibes have not been very good. So Ryan Preece, I know you can do it. At RFK, I know you can do it. Get that third RFK car back in the chase grid.
First guy I'm going to talk about, and I'm surprised no one mentioned him, is SVG. Solidly in the top 5 past 2 weeks here. Top 5 running car, top 10. Getting a lot of stage points, and these are oval tracks. We haven't even gotten to the back-to-back road courses that we're about to get here in a couple of weeks. I think the way that Shane Van Gisbergen has been running lately, dare I say he's almost a lock. Unless something crazy happens, if he keeps doing what he's been doing, he's found something. He's figured out the ovals, guys. Put the word out there. He's figured out the ovals. He's really been aggressive these last 2 weeks on the ovals, taking spots. He's not giving them up like we've seen him do in the past. I remember Bristol, his first year, the Cup Series. That was atrocious. He was a moving chicane out there, and now he's a top 5 driver. He was leading the race this past weekend, and he was leading for a little while there. He's being a pest in the lead with the aero blocking that he was doing. He was one of the fastest cars out there. I thought, he's just going to be up here because, qualifying was rained out. He'll likely drop back to about 15th or so and drive around there most of the day. Nope, he was in the top 10 pretty much all night until that restart there late. But overall, he's been running great. And like I said, we have yet to get to the road courses really here, the back-to-back at San Diego and Sonoma. I think he's going to win both. There's a chance he wins both. He's going to have 3 wins. He'll likely be vaulted up to about probably top 7 in points at that point. I'd say maybe even higher. He's almost a lock at this point if you count those as wins. The next guy I want to talk about, and I'm sure we've all talked about him at different points of the season, it's Ross Chastain. Sitting 26th in points. It is just kind of crazy to see the fall of Ross Chastain and Trackhouse. I mean, I say the fall of Trackhouse, and I just talked about SVG in a Trackhouse car, but it's just shocking to see. I guess you could rope in Zilich in this one too, just how bad they have been. Shocking, when they do have speed, something happens. They had speed at Charlotte, he gets wrecked. They had speed this past weekend at Nashville, moving up to the field, he gets wrecked. It's just at some point, maybe the bad luck stops, but I think at some point it's going to become too late, and he's going to come up short and miss the chase. And the last guy I'm going to talk about is my guy Bubba. I think I talked about him last week, but I got to talk about him again this week. He was second in points not too long ago. Led the league in stage points at 57, going into Darlington, and then since Darlington, he's only has 24 stage points, and this past month and a half has been quite atrocious, and none of it has. I mean, people are gonna be saying, "Oh, woe is me," kind of thing when it comes to Bubba, but none of it has really been his fault. Besides Martinsville, he got wrecked at Watkins Glen. He got wrecked at this past weekend. He got wrecked at Charlotte. He's had, I think, I want to say 4 or 5 DNFs already. Not DNFs, but wrecks, pretty much where he's gotten taken out of these races. And he's gone from second in points all the way to 15th on the bubble. Not where you want to be, 34 points above the cut line. It's a bit stressful. It's a bit stressful as a Bubba fan. I can only imagine how it is being Bubba already. But he's a driver in a team that I think should be around the 8th to 12th place points in points. He's got a fast car, a really fast car. He just has kept finding himself in situations where he gets taken out, not even if it's his fault. And just kind of like the saying Zachary and I both said, the law of averages says that it'll work its way out at some point. And hopefully that happens this weekend at Michigan, a place, one of his best tracks. If he doesn't finish top 5, he has a tire that goes down late. That's what happens with him. But I'm hoping this is where he gets his top 5, maybe even a possible win this season. That would definitely help out for sure. But yeah, those are the guys we're going to talk about. Let's move on and talk more news in NASCAR. That being, we're going to stick with 2311 here. Corey Heim going full time with 2311 next year, rumored to be in the 35 car, taking over for Riley Herbst. It's official. He's finally in the Cup Series, the worst kept secret in NASCAR Garage. Guys, thoughts on this finally being announced?
About time for some Heim time. That's all I got to say. I felt like this has been a long time coming. This probably should have happened a while ago. I'm not going to lie. I feel like Corey Heim might be the most Cup-ready driver I've ever seen, honestly. I think he's the most, okay, he should definitely be in Cup next year since, I want to say I know Connor Zillage, but I was still hesitant on his oval. Since I'd probably say Ty Gibbs, I was like, okay, yeah, he should be in Cup next year, halfway through the year. Heim, I was thinking that 2 or 3 seasons ago. Perfect. Especially when Riley Herbst has been driving the 35, and it feels like he's just kind of a pay driver. Although we do joke and hate on Riley Herbst because it's Riley Herbst, but unironically, he has had a decent season by his standards and has had his best. He has definitely improved since last year for sure. I'm not going to deny that. Now, should he be in the 35 car? Absolutely not. One of my favorite memories of Riley Herbst in the 35 car was me being at Indianapolis last year and looking at 5 on the big scoreboard tower and sitting there for 15 minutes trying to remember who's in the 35 car. It took 15 minutes. That's not even like embellishment or over exaggeration. It generally took me 15 minutes. I thought of Cole Witt. I was thinking Cole Witt was in the Cup Series. That's how bad it was. Anyways, yeah, good for Corey Heim. Bad for Riley. Do I care? No. Go Corey Heim.
It's about damn time. First off, with Riley Herbst, again, I think he has improved a little bit, just a little bit, but he has improved, okay? Couldn't have been worse than what it was his first year with 2311. But he did his purpose. Again, he served his purpose, bringing in Monster Energy, obviously helped pay for that third charter that 2311 spent a lot of money on, bringing it in and bringing in the Bucks. And he's going to have another opportunity. I've heard Legacy Motor Club. So if that is the case, then he still has a ride in the Cup Series. So at least you got that going for yourself. But as for Corey Heim, I mean, again, like I said, it's about time that he finally got this opportunity. Again, we felt like he deserved an opportunity. If it wasn't for him, potentially maybe Ty Gibbs being at Joe Gibbs Racing, he would have been at Joe Gibbs Racing somewhere. Maybe Chase Briscoe wouldn't have been in the 19 car, maybe. But if they would have waited a little bit, honestly, if Hamlin would have won the championship last year, he could have been the perfect guy for that 11 car. But Hamlin didn't win the championship, and he's back still driving that car. So, unfortunately, JGR is booked, and, thankfully they have the satellite team in 2011, and it's not a bad opportunity, obviously. You've seen it. Tyler Reddick has won 5 times this year. Bubba Wallace is still in the chase, okay? He still is in the chase, so I know it's stressing Rizzo out that he's on the bubble, obviously, but he still is in the chase, and it's a good car, okay? And you've seen him. Like, he's been in that 67 car sometimes this year. He was at Texas. He was leading laps at Texas. God, I can't stand Texas. It's he's shown his talent obviously already in trucks because he's won 25 times through 3 seasons. Half of those coming obviously last year where he won half the schedule. And when you do that, when you do something like that, then you prove yourself worthy of being put in the Cup Series. There is no one way of developing a guy, especially in today's age, because the next-gen car is just so much different than everything else that O'Reilly and sometimes, obviously, trucks run. But, Heim has had some starts. They've put him in some starts, and he has done a fairly decent job at it. I think he finished 5th one time in one of his starts last year. So, with Heim, again, he doesn't bring as much, funding as Herbst, but he will give the team more exposure, which I feel like obviously is the better long-term investment. Again, no offense to Riley Herbst, but it was time, okay, and no better time than Heim time. Welcome to the Cup Series, Corey Heim.
Yeah, it's well deserved. I think. Like I said, worst kept secret in the garage, probably. I feel like this just works out for everybody here. Corey Heim, he's ready to compete in the Cup Series. He's not ready just to sit with a team that's not a competing team. He's ready to go out there and compete to make the chase and win races. He's that good. I know last year we thought, we were saying Connor Zilch is the best prospect to ever come up through the ranks, but I think Corey Heim is going to have, he's going to have something to say about that. He's in a better situation, going to be in a better ride. I wouldn't be shocked if he wins a race, in his first full-time season. I really wouldn't. Even today, Denny Hamlin, he said he's not just going to be in that seat just to fill the seat. He's in there because they know that he can make the chase next year in his rookie season. They know it's possible. 2311 is a team that is trying to go for championships at this point. How old they are, sure, you might say it's too soon, but where the speed is at, especially where Tyler Reddick is, they're a championship contending team. No offense to Riley, but he's not a championship competing driver. And I'm not saying that Bubba Wallace and Corey Heim are, but they are definitely leagues above where Riley Herbst is. And Riley Herbst, if he goes to that the 84 with Legacy Motor Club, which is the leading rumor that he's going there, that would fit him. That they're a 15th to 30th place team any given week. They've been running great recently. I I think he would fit that. He'd stay in the Toyota camp, and if that's where he ends up going, it'll work out for him. They won't have the pressure that he has at 23-11. But anyway, great move, Corey Heim to 23-11. Next up, Kevin Magnussen, F1 driver, former F1 driver for Haas and some other teams, will drive for Trackhouse in the Project 91 car. The rumor that it was going to be Max Verstappen, pretty high expectation, high rumor, probably was never realistic to think about. Instead, we get Kevin Magnussen, a popular guy on the Drive to Survive Netflix documentary that people really liked. But he will be in the 91 for San Diego. Guys, thoughts on this one?
Great. I did think the Max Verstappen hype train was a little bit high, honestly. Kevin's cool too. Anytime that Project 91 ride is used, it's a good thing. It's a good thing for NASCAR. A lot of those F1 fans are going to look over here and see how's he doing. In the 91 car, it is confirmed it is San Diego, right? By chance, or is it not confirmed? It is confirmed that it's San Diego. Okay, it is for sure San Diego. Perfect. I'd say, like, it'll be on a naval base. It's going to look cool. It gets me even more excited for San Diego. Honestly, I have really high hopes that the San Diego naval base race is going to be awesome. I am actually like really excited for it. I can't wait for it. Kudos for having Kevin on board. Great job, Trackhouse. We got more talent coming to the sport. We got international eyes on us. And yeah, it's nothing but a good thing.
When Trackhouse obviously started and they came up with this Project 91, it was to bring in more exposure for NASCAR. It was bringing in other guys that maybe wanted to try out a NASCAR stock car, next gen car. And, you saw that with Kimi Räikkönen. He came and drove it, and now you've seen it here with Kevin Magnussen. Long time coming, honestly, I feel like, because they haven't ran the Project 91 in a hot minute. So them busting it out there at San Diego is a good place to do it because, again, it's everything about it is just brand new. It's obviously on a naval Air Force base, and with bringing in a guy like that, he can potentially, he's on the same level playing field as everybody else, is what I'm trying to get at, because no one's driven this course before, and hopefully, Trackhouse can deliver him a solid piece that he can go out there and run against, some good, high level Cup drivers. Because I feel like, he, even though he doesn't have a whole lot of success in Formula One or anything like that, again, he might have, he has less experience than everybody else, but again, no one's driven this course before. He'll be there the first time like everybody else, and he still knows how to drive a race car still, no matter what. So I think it's a good opportunity for him, and thank Trackhouse for bringing the Project 91 car back.
Yeah, glad the Project 91 car's back. It's good seeing drivers from other forms of motorsports go and try out NASCAR. And it's good when you get a bigger name in F1. I mean, he's going to be known around the world. Kevin Magnussen drove F1 just, I want to say last year or 2 years ago. So overall, just a great get in that car. Obviously not the Max Verstappen like everyone had hoped or thought it could be possible. But, this is a good move. Does he win? We saw SVG won his first start at a track that we never went to. Now he's going to have to be SVG. SVG is he's the best. So you got to go up there and beat the best. So it'll be cool to see how Kevin Magnussen does, and I wish him luck and hope he does well. Anyway, guys, let's move on and go to the awards ceremony. I start off first. Top shelf of the week. Give me Toyota. I'm taking Toyota. I think everyone has said Toyota at some point this season. I haven't. But yeah, Toyota, they went to a track that they have not won at, a track that they haven't been really good at, really, ever. It's sixth race here, and they do a great job. They get the win, finish 1, 2, 3. Reddick looked great. I mean, there's a lot of good Toyotas out there in the field. They've continuously shown us why they're the best OEM currently manufactured in the series. It's just a matter of time if someone's going to catch up to them. And right now, they've got it all.
Yeah, give me a guy I was not expecting to be up here at the end of the race, and I didn't even realize he was up here when the race was over. I don't think anyone realized how good he was running the entire race, even after he crossed the start-finish line in fourth. Give me Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He ran a Kyle Busch throwback scheme, NOS Energy's scheme that Kyle ran. I remember in 2016, 2015, 2017, around that time period. Yeah, Gimme Stenhouse had a great run. Obviously, he's not doing super good in the points. He recently got extended by his team. They're sticking around. They're not shutting down. And then he backs it up with a fourth place run here at Nashville. Give me Ricky Stenhouse Jr. for the top shelf.
And the surprise that I guess maybe no longer is a surprise anymore, considering he's seemingly trying to do this more consistently. He has so at Charlotte and now here at Nashville. SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen. You know, again, everyone knew coming into the year that the most points he was going to make up, obviously, is still going to be at the road courses, right? And at COTA, he didn't win. He finished second behind Tyler Reddick. So he needed to win the next handful of road courses, the next 3 road courses, obviously, on the schedule, because there's none in the chase. There's none in the final 10 races. And he's accomplished that 1 out of 3 so far. He won Watkins Glen. But he's earning a lot of points. And he's finishing well. And plus, on top of that, the reason why that matters so much is because if qualifying ends up getting canceled, which it has done the last couple of weeks, he's starting really well. He has a good pit box, when he gets to choose his pit box. He's starting really well, and he's running up front, getting a lot of points on these ovals. And, it seems like he's finally starting to get comfortable at it. Maybe outside of Bristol, honestly, because he still kind of did struggle there this year as well. But everywhere else, he's finally picking it up. And obviously on road courses, he's the god. So, SVG, applause to you, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
Some good picks there for top shelf, guys. Now let's move over to hangover of the week. Man, I'm going to have to give it to I'm going to have to give it to Ross Chastain. He's a driver that should be in the chase, fighting for the chase, and he's sitting there 26th in points. It's just been a terrible year. I mean, I could also say my driver there too, but I'm going to go with Ross Chastain.
Give me RFK as a whole. I thought this was going to be one of the tracks that RFK could run well on, and they really didn't. Ryan Preece had issues. Brad Keselowski got wrecked. Chris Buescher had a brake rotor issue. It just wasn't a good race. Even when they all 3 were still in the race, they still weren't running good. They struggled the entire race, all 3 of them. Chris Buescher slipping in points. He's down from 5th to 8th from last time I checked. Brad Keselowski, I remember when he was 9th, he's now 13th. Ryan Preece just had that penalty not too long ago, and he is outside the chase altogether. So, yeah, give me an RFK as a whole.
And since Rizzo didn't do it, I will take his guy, Bubba Wallace. Yeah, you said it. He was second in the points early on that first month of the year, and the first 5 races of the year, he was getting a lot of stage points. And then basically these last 12 races, he's gotten half of that. And, again,
hey, real quick. How the fuck did Chad Fincham finish 28th?
No idea.
Attrition. So many wrecks. He just had to finish somewhere.
So Yeah, good shout out to Chad Fincham. Yeah, Bubba, again, unfortunately, his entire career has been about, hot and cold stretches. Unfortunately, you do have drivers like that. And unfortunately, he's one of those. But I feel like this is the most extreme outlier of that, considering that when he's getting crashed, he's in the top half of the field. Like, he got crashed on the restart at Charlotte, unfortunately, because they were all four wide and there wasn't enough room. Unfortunately, he was the car that was the nearest to the wall. He got put in the wall. So ended up breaking the toe link, and that forced him out early. He came back, but he didn't run very well, obviously, because he was laps down. And then here in Nashville, again, he's running around 10th place. Hocevar makes a move on Busher and ends up causing a big accident. And Bubba, once again, is at the mercy of it. And, again, in racing, you have good luck and you have bad luck. And some people don't believe in luck. But unfortunately, Bubba Wallace is on his bad luck stretch right now. Thankfully, again, like Rizzo said, that they are going to Michigan this weekend, so he is a guy to watch out for, considering that he is actually pretty good at Michigan. So hopefully he can turn around this weekend. But yeah, Bubba Wallace, you definitely need it because it's been rough.
Yes, it's been very rough. All righty, guys. Let's go on to picks, predictions, and here we go. So last week, how we finished here, in last place and fourth, Bunny had Carson Hocevar finishing 10th. We all got top 10s this week. I finished third with my pick of Zane Smith finishing 9th. Almost had it, guys. Almost had it. Zachary, you got second place with Ryan Blaney in 8th. And then Aiden, you won the weekend with Reddick at 6th. We gave you crap for it because we're like, I don't know, man. Reddick's not that good here. Sure enough, he won you this weekend. So first up, Michael will go, and since he's not here, he is taking Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott is his pick here. If it was Gen 6, I think that'd be a great pick. I still think it's a solid pick. I think he could get you a top 10. I'm going to get a guy, this arguably could be his best track. They've been running fantastic here. This team is good here. Give me Chris Buescher. I'm not too sure if I've already done him yet. I think I may have. I think I might not have. As of right now, I'll take Chris Buescher. If I've taken him, I'll swap my pick. But I think I have Chris Buescher available, so I'll take Chris Buescher. Zachary, who do you got?
Yeah, so looking at the past, this has been a Ford dominant type of track, but JGR is really good here as well. And because Toyota has been the top manufacturer again, basically all year, I have to take a Toyota. I'll take a guy that is also really good here. He has a lot of decent results. Never finished worse than 11th place, honestly, in his 4 starts here. Give me Ty Gibbs.
All right, I guess it's my go around this time as the defending race winner right now. I'm going with a guy that was at one point probably considered the best at this track and was borderline unstoppable for a different race team, actually, ever since joining this other race team. He hasn't not won here. I think he's due. Give me Kyle Larson at Michigan.
Some great picks, guys. It looks like some of you guys are swinging for the fences here. Man, yeah, everyone's swinging for the fences here. It's gonna be a good week. Looking forward to this race. Let's get into the predictions here. I think it's gonna be a solid race. We've seen some pretty solid races here with the next gen car. Toyota has been dominant this season. They won here last year with Denny Hamlin. Carson Hocevar almost won it. And he had, what was that, a tire going down or engine issue with 19 laps to go? I can't remember what it was, but he had the win in the bag, and he had some issues there late. Surprised no one went with him. But overall, looking forward to this race. I think it's going to be pretty solid. I'm really hoping my guy Bubba gets back on the good luck train. Nabs a win. I'm just asking for top 15, some stage points. That's all I'm really hoping for at this point. But guys, what are your predictions this week?
Michigan is kind of low on my list, unfortunately. I've been to Michigan like 3 times personally, and I think it's one of those tracks that's definitely better in person than it is to watch, for sure. Ironically, I've experienced three very different winners. Kurt Busch, Clint Boyer, and Ryan Blaney. Now that's a group of three drivers that you wouldn't really expect. But in the next gen era, I don't know. I really haven't been impressed with. I haven't been super impressed with next gen races at Michigan. I think they've been better than the Gen 6 races for sure, but I don't know. I'm keeping my expectations low for this one.
Michigan for me has never been a standout track, honestly. Again, most of these tracks that are in the summer, which Michigan always has been, has never really like hit. But the last couple of years, I've actually kind of been impressed with it. Now, it's not going to be the greatest race, obviously, in the world. It has its moments where it does tend to suck, especially if you remember back to the 550 package, that was god awful. But going off of last year, honestly, if we do see something like that, then I think this is going to be a pretty entertaining race. I think that's more of like a 7.5 out of 10 race, honestly, if we get that. And, it always happens. And I know the fuel mileage in the next gen has not been like the fuel mileage in the past, but, you can run the tank dry a little bit here at Michigan because it can still happen. And that's always an interesting wrinkle to throw in at all these drivers as well and crew chiefs. So, yeah, I'm not saying my expectations are super, super high, but they're kind of in the middle, and I feel like they can meet that because it has so in the last couple of years. So, definitely wouldn't say looking forward to it, but again, it's a race that could throw a wild card at you. Honestly, you never know.
I like your predictions here, guys. Looking forward to the race weekend. But anyway, we're getting here to the end of the show. Let's move on to Zachary's Guess the Driver. Zachary, could you at least say it's a little bit easier? Because the last couple have been quite difficult.
Yeah, so the last couple I've picked from the pioneer days where none of us were alive. And I did that because I want this to be hard a little bit because I
Except
feel
for
like
Bunny. Bunny might have been alive for those.
I don't know. This was the 50s, man.
Yeah, these are-
He's I don't. He's
Kiss
pretty
my
old.
Satan. Kiss
There he
my.
is.
He's still here.
so I was picking from the pioneer days, and I will say I think this guy should be more well known. He's closer to these times. So let's get right into it. So starting off, of course, as always, this driver was born in Owensboro, Kansas. This driver has two other brothers that also raced in NASCAR. So he definitely has he's a racing family. This driver started driving on the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. He won in one season, he ran it 22 times. He won 15 of them. He won the track championship. The following year, 1992, okay, this driver debuted in the Busch Series at Richmond, finished 22nd.
I got a guess.
Okay, what's your guess?
Mike Wallace.
That is incorrect.
Ah!
That's a good guess, but that's incorrect. This driver ran a limited schedule the first 4 years of running the Busch Series. He ran for the Sadler brothers. That does not include Elliott Sadler, by the way. That's two different Sadler guys. And then Junior Johnson. Yes, Junior Johnson was still running cars during this time. He then switched over to DEI, Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. He finished top 5 in points for 2 straight seasons when he was running full time.
Guess. Hold on. Steve Parks, by chance.
That is incorrect.
All right.
Kenny Wallace?
That is incorrect. You guys are obviously in the right era, obviously, when those guys were around, but it's none of those right now. This driver's first win in the Busch Series came at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Is this Mike Skinner?
That is incorrect.
Damn it.
This driver did end up winning a Busch Series title. His brother also won a Busch Series title. They were the first brothers to do so, to win a NASCAR title in the top 3 series of NASCAR. This driver did not have much success in the Cup level, though, and could never find a good home. So he settled in being a Busch Series driver most of his career. But he did run Cup.
Is this Jeff Green?
That is correct.
Yes. Let's go. I got a Jeff Green diecast down here I could show off, but
Yes, that is correct.
Is it the 31 like Lowe's car?
no.
No. All right.
It's the 10 Nesquik.
See, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
that was one of my clues too. One of the last clues I had was this driver's most well-known number was the 10 Nesquik car.
Oh, I'm so happy I got that one.
So, yeah. I mean, again, I wanted to make it easier, obviously, because the last couple of times I've done it, it's been extremely, extremely hard on you guys. And, again, I felt like this is a guy that, again, did not have much success in Cup. He ran Cup, obviously, and he ran it for like 25 years, but he also ran the Busch Series for that long as well. And he won all his races, obviously, in the Busch Series, 1-0 in Cup, and I felt like this was a perfect guy to do because I feel like he's also still well known because, again, he won a Busch title. But yeah, so congrats to Rizzo on getting it.
Thank you. Was there any other hints? What were the rest of the hints you had?
It was the Nesquik car one, and then I was gonna give away that it was his brother David Green. David Green won the Busch title in '94. He won it in 2000.
Now, is it him that's a NASCAR official now? Like, isn't like I swear I heard that Jeff Green is a NASCAR official now. I could be wrong. Some former driver is a NASCAR official. I know that. I just couldn't remember.
I did not see it that say he is a NASCAR official. What I saw was that he just runs a nonprofit charity. So that's all they could give me. But if it is one of them, then hey, I mean, good for him. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Zachary, for another Guess the Driver section. Always my favorite section of the show. Getting to this, it's always fun. Bunny, any questions from the fans?
Well, I was going to answer your question. So, David Green and Elton Sawyer would be two that are officials or part of the NASCAR crew.
I thought one of the Green brothers was one of them. So
Yeah, so we have, if you had to bet your life savings on one of these three drivers to win this year, which one would you take? The 6, the 60, or the 21?
Oh,
I mean, I feel like that's easy. I'm putting the money on Brad Keselowski to get a win this year. Give me Brad K.
yeah, I gotta say it's kind of honestly, it might seem like a toss up because all these guys haven't won in a while, obviously. Or Priest has won never. He's never won a points event. But it has to be Brad because he can still find a way to front at super speedways, and he still has that ability to obviously dominate a race. He did dominate that Darlington race here not long ago, and ran second at Bristol and finished second at Phoenix. He blew the last corner at Phoenix, so he would have had a recent win obviously than what he does. But yeah, it's gotta be bad Brad. So
For me personally, there is a clear answer here. However, you ask a question like that, betting my life savings, it makes me think. I go to the casino. I gamble myself. I go to the roulette table. And you want to know what's one of the numbers I roll? It's red 21, baby. It's red 21. All life savings. We're going all in on Josh Berry. Let it ride. All right, we letting it ride. It is riding. All right, the Wood brothers have never let me down. They gave Blaney his first ever opportunity. Wood brothers is my team. We letting it ride on Josh Berry. I don't care if he is 45th in points out of 38 cars. All right, I'm letting it ride on Josh Berry.
I mean, I agree it's got to be Keselowski, but knowing my luck, it would end up being Priest, the guy that's never won, that would pull one out, or it would be rain shortened, or some weird asterisk type win, and it would cost me. Brad would finish second. That's how that'd work.
Knowing everyone's luck, somehow we'll have a race where we actually do this. Ryan Priest and Brad Keselowski would tie with the most laps led until there's like a giant wreck going into turn 4, and Josh Berry generally ends up winning the whole thing.
Yep, that's how it would go. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Moonshiners Racing presented by Depot Street Sports. I'm your host, Michael Rizzo, joined with Bunny, Aiden Forney, and Zachary Kendall. We'll be back next week talking all things Michigan and getting you prepared for San Diego. Guys, we'll see you later.